Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It's an honor to welcome Dr. Laura Rhodes Levin to the show. Thank you for being here, by the way.
My pleasure.
You know, we're talking about Transformation Tuesday and mental health, and I think it's such an important conversation to really bring to the forefront because people don't really consider the health of their mind and their spirit as much often as they do with their body.
Yeah, and when you guys were doing your opening, I was like, yes, 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 because there are so many things that our brains, just like your previous guest was saying too, hold us back from. And I know we think we're all modern on our hoverboard and stuff like that, but we're animals. We really, really are. And a good example of that is we don't chase mammoths anymore. So we have to invent gymnasiums in order to maintain our bodies. Otherwise, we would just turn to mush, right? Our brains are the same way. There is so much that's going on for our brain right now. Just driving on the freeway at 60, 70 miles an hour, you're in a fight or flight state. And that amygdala, that limbic system gets totally overwhelmed. And we get hijacked by our emotions all the time. And that's a different part of our brain than the executive part, right?
Sometimes I feel like I'm driving down, I'm like in someone's like trunk, like get me out, I'm totally hijacked for those emotions, right? I mean, we go through so much chaos in LA, people have no idea how stressed they are. It's ridiculous.
It's true.
Yeah.
And we do, and we try and think our way out of it.
Oh,
which
that doesn't work.
Right? That's a different part of our brain. So it's like scratching your head to itch your foot. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the center, what we do is we do therapy. I'm a therapist, but we also do a lot of work with the brain, neurofeedback, alpha stimulation, aromatherapy. I'm trying to reintroduce the phrase, come to your senses. You know, it's not just a black and white movie with a guy slapping a girl around. If your animal was stressed out, you wouldn't be like, Fluffy, let's think about what upset you this morning. You would soothe it. And so when you're in a place like Hawaii, it smells good, it's beautiful, it feels good on your skin. Your senses take over, and you don't care about your taxes in Hawaii.
So how can we start to live like that, to be able to really self-soothe?
So mindfulness is not just a word. Stopping and smelling the roses is not just about the roses. It's about all of it. And that's what we focus on, is how to be calm, be present in the moment, how to self-soothe. And really, if you let your senses take over and you practice doing that, because we're practiced at thinking, it's so much easier to just, usually wherever you're sitting, you're okay.
So talk to us about the biofeedback. What do you do for that?
Okay, so EEG biofeedback, neurofeedback, the colloquialism, is the brain's ability to fix itself. Your brains are amazing. Right now, if you have a cut on your leg, it's fixing it. If it's running your nervous system, all of that. But the way the brain does that is through the nervous system. Your leg says, I'm cut, I have a problem, and the brain sends down all these signals to fix it. But the brain itself doesn't have nerve endings, right? You can do brain surgery and the person's awake. You're poking and saying, you know, can you move your arm? So some neuroscientists thought years ago, what if the brain could see itself? Would it fix itself? And the answer is yes. So with EEG, we're able to sit you down with electrodes on your head. It doesn't shock you or anything, just like an EKG, you know, the pen goes up and down. Your brain is given information about itself in live time, and it starts to fix itself. It's like the brain looking in the mirror and going, oh God, I have a mess here. And with anxiety, it's a primitive, important state.
And I think it's important to mention anxiety because some people might think, oh, I have to be diagnosed with a very, severe mental disorder. I'm just stressed, I'm just worried. But they can come just if they're anxious.
Yeah, anxiety is not what's wrong with us. It's what's right with us. We need anxiety to survive. If there's a lion, you need to have a fight or flight response to run. But like I was saying earlier, with driving and all the stuff that hypes us up, our brains are overloaded. So it's just about honing that in so that if you are planning a business, if you do want to execute something and your emotions are taking over, give your brain a chance to get rid of the lions, look in the mirror and go, I'm hysterical. There's lions. Oh wait, there's no lions. I'm just sitting in a chair.
You know, I think it's also important to, Rob always talks about this hypothetical line in the sand. When do you know if you have too much anxiety that you should seek help? Maybe it isn't normal.
You know, I think that we're starting to understand it's much more prophylactic. Why get to the point where you're feeling so anxious that your world is getting smaller? Why not do preemptive mental health? Learn how to take care of yourself. I love that they teach math in schools. It's very helpful. But I remember my teacher saying, do you think you're going to walk around with a calculator? Well, yes. Now we are.
Actually.
Why not learn self-soothing skills before you need them? You know, we need them all the time. We really, really do.
So critical. It's so critical. And one of my favorite quotes is Carl Jung. He says, we reparent people at an age where reparenting is impossible. But I think to a large extent, he's really talking about self-soothing, the ability to self-soothe.
It is. And what your previous guest was saying, as corny as it is, it's so much about loving yourself. If you're starting a new business and you're saying, well, you're an idiot, how are you ever going to accomplish this? If a friend said that to you, you'd say, oh my God, you're horrible, get out of my house.
Right.
But we say these things to ourselves. So reparenting yourself has a lot to do with self-love, belief, esteem building.
Love it. Well, tell people where they can find you, work with you, how they can find you.
Right now, I'm on a couch at Laura in West Hollywood. There's some really good people.
That's right.
But, usually we're in Agora Hills, and we have all sorts of things in our facility. We have a sand room where you sit on a tropical beach. We have a galaxy room where you can sit back and be under the stars. We have massage therapy, art therapy. It really is a spa for your brain.
I'm moving in.
Love it.
So come check it out. You're invited.
So awesome.
Well,
I
thank you
grant
so
you
much.
each a free session of something
Oh,
of your
love
choice.
that.
I accept the challenge.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you so
Rhodes.
much.
We're
Thank
so
you.
grateful. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.